girl gang. Welcome to another W.I.N.K episode, and today we're going to talk about sex, sex. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly, and we're going to keep it real. So make sure you keep watching. All right, YGG, let's break it down. I'm going to be giving you the risks, the benefits, the responsibilities to get a good idea about how you feel about sex and your body and who you choose to share your body with and when you choose to do so. W.I.N.K is all about what I now know. And my goal in telling you about these things is not necessarily to preach or to judge, but to tell you what I know. And so what I know and my experience may be different from other people's, but it's my video. So we're going to talk about what I now know. Start with who. Let's think about who we're actually attracted to. Like, who do we like? Who looks good to us? Who makes us feel good? Who makes us laugh? Who makes us feel special? And, you know, because sex is not just all about the physical. I think that in today's society, sex has kind of become like this whatever type of deal. And it's one thing I see is like a lot of younger women not really relating to their partners, to their sexual partners. What I now know is that the connection between two people is really sometimes what makes sex great. So, you know, wait for that connection. Just wait for the connection. When I was a teenager and everybody was having sex and some of my friends were having babies and things were going on, I thought everybody was doing it. But let's just jump to the when. The average teenager doesn't start having sex in the United States until between age 16 and 17. Obviously, some people will be younger and some people will be older, but everybody is not having sex. So you may have some friends that are talking about sex. You might have some friends who are saying they're having sex, but the hardcore truth is that they probably are not. And even if they are and you're not, I think it's really important that you set the time when you're ready to do that. Sex comes with a lot of responsibility. And if you're not ready for that responsibility, you're not ready for sex. So in terms of the how part, well, I think we pretty much all get the how part, you know, depending on your partner and who you choose to share your body with. Sex is an intimate contact between two people, and it should be two consenting people. So no one should ever attempt to have sex with you, touch you, or do anything sexual towards you without your consent. And that's very important. No one has right to do anything to your body that you do not approve of. Even if you are consenting to sex and sex gets rough or something's going on that you don't enjoy, you have a right to say, okay, stop. And that should be respected by your partner. So if you're not consenting, or if you were consenting but you're not anymore, it is your right to say no, to say stop. If that person doesn't respect that, then they don't respect you. So you should not deal with them anymore. And if they are doing things that you don't consent to, that's considered sexual assault. You should report it. That consent requires information. And so we're going to go over that information. We want to have informed consent. And when we have informed consent, that means that we have two people who understand the risks of having sex, the benefits of having sex, and also they understand the alternatives. And so in terms of risks, obviously, if you are having your period already, pregnancy can be a risk. Sexually transmitted infections are a big risk. So, you know, women who are in their teenage years up to about age 24 are the demographic of women with the highest number of sexually transmitted infections. Just kind of learning how to have sex, who to have sex with, you know, who to link yourself to. That takes a little bit of practice. I think just about every grown woman that you've met has, you know, probably had some sort of person that she dealt with that she wished she had not dealt with. I know I do. God created us to be sexual beings. We have sexual desires. And when we are connected with that person who we really vibe with, the sex is going to be better. most of the time. Nothing's ever 100%, right? There are also emotional risks to getting involved with someone in such an intimate way. And so feelings can get hurt. I remember one girl just being totally dragged in the cafeteria where this guy was just talking about her and she had had sex with him, and she was actually really feeling this guy, and he was just like, talking bad about her, telling everybody, about their sexual encounter, and that was just not cool, and she was really hurt behind that. One partner may be catching feelings, the other one may not be. So we got to make sure that when we decide to engage with somebody on that level, that we've really done our homework on that individual and on how we feel, and that we're not just doing this because we think everyone else is doing it, or because we want this person to be interested in us, or because we want to try to feel loved by somebody. I guarantee you there's someone out there who loves you, and if you think no one else does, just know I do. I love you, so I'm doing this for you because I love you. So in terms of benefits, like I said, we're sexual beings. God created us to enjoy sex and to enjoy each other. However, I find that a lot of younger women are not really enjoying sex. The whole benefit of sex is sexual pleasure. You want to have sexual pleasure if you're going to be having sex, right? Okay. But I have so many younger women that I talk to every day. When I ask about whether or not sex for them is pleasurable, if they're sexually active, many of them tell me no. You'd be surprised how many younger women just don't even know, have never had an orgasm, don't know what an orgasm is, or a climax. And this is the part of sex that's supposed to be most enjoyable. Why are you having sex with someone who is not interested in giving you pleasure? So, again, I say wait for that connection, because the person who respects you, who loves you, who cares about you is going to do their best to make sure that you are pleased. If you're not being pleased and you're sexually active as a young woman, you may want to rethink that. It's always okay to make a different decision than you made before. That's how we learn and that's how we grow. So maybe you were sexually active, wasn't really working out for you. It's totally okay to go back to being celibate if that's what you want to do. Another benefit of sex is intimacy. And I think that a lot of people are searching for this intimacy, and that's why they actually have sex, and thinking that that's going to really draw them close to someone, that's going to cause this person to love them more. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have intimacy before you have sex, it's probably not going to happen after sex. And that's just real. Like, if you're not really vibing with that person, if they're not someone that you would just like to sit and talk to, who you're comfortable just being in a room with, even if there's nothing going on, it probably isn't going to get a whole lot better, because sex sometimes, especially when in younger people, tends to make the situation a little awkward. Everybody's like, oh, sex happened. So, think about that before we do it. I also find that there are some younger ladies who are just like on an adventure. They want to explore, and they are curious, and they want to kind of see like what sex is like. I find that adventures sometimes land you in trouble. So think about those things. There's nothing wrong with being curious about sex. There's nothing wrong with sexual experimentation. Everybody, has probably done it. But I think that, if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would wait for my husband. And I know that's like totally cliche, but because we have such a vibe, because we get along so well, there's a whole nother level of being together and being close and being intimate. And we're intimate even when there's no sex going on. We could just be close to each other and know that this person really loves me and cares about me. We're able to really just vibe and just talk and just sit next to each other and hold hands. That's what real intimacy is. And sex can be adventurous within the confines of a strong, healthy relationship. And so don't mistake me to say that if you've had sex before marriage that you have sinned, or that you're evil or you're bad. I had sex before marriage. I kind of, thinking back, wish I hadn't. I mean, because some of that was just worthless. So now that I found my bae, my boo, my one, I know what I was going for. And I realized that what I had in the past, was bogus. So anyway, take it for what it's worth to you. In terms of being responsible, you need to know your status. So at least once per year, you're gonna go and get checked for sexually transmitted infections. And that's including HIV, hepatitis, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, trichomonas. You want to be tested for these things so that you know your status and so that you're not spreading infection to other people. You want to take good care of yourself and good care of your body. The female body is just amazing. And I think that it's so important that we respect our bodies and that we treat our bodies well. And so, if you're sexually active, definitely going to get that at least once a year. Health check is important. If you're sexually active with multiple partners, I would definitely recommend at least every 6 months. And if you're not ready to become pregnant, you need to visit either the health department or a gynecologist or a family doctor and talk about ways to prevent pregnancy. We want to prevent infection, and so we'll use condoms, but you really need a backup form of birth control other than condoms if you're regularly sexually active, because it really only takes one time. Teenagers are the most fertile people in the whole world. The teens and 20-somethings can get pregnant like that. So condoms are our first line of defense against infection, but they do not work so well in preventing pregnancy. In the state of Georgia and in many other states, you can see a doctor or a nurse practitioner or PA without parental consent. And I know parents are cringing when I'm saying this, but what I want you to know is that you can take care of yourself. If you don't feel comfortable or confident talking to your parents about sexual activity, if you've recently become sexually active, please reach out to an adult you can trust. And that can be a healthcare provider who can help you make some good decisions. What I now know is that sex outside of a committed, healthy relationship is just not that great. I mean, that's my opinion. Other people may have other opinions. And what I now know is that the bond between a husband and wife is such an unbreakable covenant. People get divorced all the time, but the truth of the matter is that once you're bonded with someone and you have made promises to that person, in God's eyes, there is not really a divorce that happens. You may get divorced on paper, but in God's eyes, you are bonded with that person forever. And so there can be some real emotional ties there. And if you have been sexually active and you're having trouble with some of those emotional issues, that maybe the relationship didn't work out, or maybe, things didn't go the way that you thought they should go, or maybe something happened that was inappropriate where someone did something that you did not approve of them doing to your body, it's important to talk to an adult that you trust, or even your gynecologist, because that's what we're there for. So, young girl gang, if you're thinking about becoming sexually active, so much better to be proactive in seeing a women's health provider and kind of getting your ducks in a row and making a plan versus just jumping out there and doing something. You want to make sure that you understand the risks, the benefits, and the responsibilities that come along with having sex. And there's always the alternative to just wait if you're not comfortable yet. If you feel like you're ready, if you feel like you got the right person, if you've been to your care provider, you've got a plan for preventing pregnancy and preventing sexually transmitted infections, then, hey, it is what it is. But if I knew then what I know now, I would say, wait until you're absolutely sure that you're ready. So if you have questions, if you have comments, concerns, post those in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss a single WINK episode. And we'll see you soon, young girl gang. Peace.